So it's been about a week since Sonic X Shadow Generations came out, and I can definitely wholeheartedly say that this is one of my top 3 Sonic games ever for me. Shadow's a complicated character in the Sonic franchise, as many of us fans know. He's definitely had a compelling story over the past couple of years, but we've never really had the chance to really dive super deep into it, even though we know how compelling it can be. The last time it was playable was over 18 years ago in Sonic 06, not including side games or DLC. And even in that game, his character growth was super huge from when we first came to him versus now. And you could tell there was always potential for the type of game that he could have and the story that could be written about him. So with that in mind, you could probably tell how excited fans were, but also the curveball that was handed to us when we figured out that Shadow was finally getting his own game again, but that was going to be paired with Sonic Generations. It's already hard being a Sega fan, knowing how many spots that we've been in. One moment we'll feel like we're at the top of the world. Next moment we'll feel like we took 1,000 steps back.
I'm supposed to be the fastest, but I was too slow to save my buddy.
But recently I feel like as a franchise, Sonic has been doing the best it's ever been. I know a lot of fans were kind of like indecisive about Frontiers when it first came out, but I'm gonna love Frontiers, and I think it's a good stepping stone and a good like restart for the whole Sonic franchise. So that brings us to Sonic X Shadow Generations. When the trailer was announced, like I said earlier, we did not know we were gonna get, but I'm really happy to say that what we got is pretty amazing. Shadow feels so good to control. I've never felt like this good about a character in a Sonic game in a long time. I think Sega has nailed the movement in this game. It feels like a combination of the boost games and the adventure games, which I've been saying a lot, and I feel like that's true. Because while you're still keeping a lot of the speed from the boost games with, keeping the boost button intact, you're also still having to do a lot of platforming, which reminds me a lot of the adventure games. One of the things that I can admit that I didn't like about Frontiers were the cyberspace levels. And not the level designs themselves, but just the fact that it didn't feel fun and like to play them. Sonic felt slow in them a lot of the time. And in this game, Shadow feels like he's at the perfect speed to be able to move fast and still be able to platform, and I feel like we found the perfect mix. Shadow is so cool to play in this game. Obviously he has chaos control, and you're able to actually like stop time in the levels, and you notice him using it when instead of homing attacking, he just chaos controls onto enemies and hits them that way, and that's super fun and satisfying to see. And Sega went ahead and they didn't just give us Shadow, but they gave us a Shadow with all new abilities. The Doom powers are so fun to use. I've never had so much fun with some like gameplay gimmick in a long time, especially in a Sonic game. Like, you would not expect a gameplay gimmick like these Doom powers to be fun in a Sonic game, but they are actually fun. And you get 5 new powers. You get the Doom Spears, the Doom Blast, Doom Surf, Doom Morph, and the Doom Wings. And the Doom Wings are basically just like this game's version of like Super Shadow, which is fun to have. It's cool. Shadow with wings is definitely something I would have never dreamt of seeing, but it's here and it's welcomed. I think the only one people don't really like is the Doom Morph, but as for me, I'm gonna get into it later, but I think it's fun. I do wonder though how the future of these games are gonna go without the Doom powers, obviously, and the next time we visit Sonic in his own game, I wonder how it's gonna be controlling and playing him. Obviously, it would be cool if they did like bring Sonic's moves from Frontiers into the next mainline game. I think that could be really cool, because it is going to be weird playing the featured games without these Doom powers after we get so accustomed to them. But like I said before, Sega is known for always creating some sort of gimmick in their Sonic games. So I'm no stranger to them, and I'm sure they aren't either, and I'm sure whatever they have planned, they probably already do have something planned. But hopefully it's good, and hopefully it's just as fun as the Doom powers, because I would really love to see something come back like the Doom powers, because they are way too fun. And when it comes to the stages, oh my god, the stages. There are so many routes you can take in these stages. It feels like every run could be a new playthrough. Obviously, some routes are going to be faster than others, and speedrunners are going to want to take that, etc, etc. But the option is still fun to have, and it makes it enjoyable for future playthroughs if you're ever going back and replaying the game. There were so many times I was playing through stages like Kingdom Valley and Chaos Island, and I was just surprised at how many paths you could take. And not only are there so many paths to take, but these stages last a long time. The days of Sonic Forces are over. Now, when you press the boost button, you don't finish the stage in 1 to 2 minutes. It's amazing. I was playing Sonic Unleashed a lot before this game came out just to like get a sense of like good level design, because I still think, I wouldn't know if I would put Shadow Generations above Sonic Unleashed yet. They're very close, but in terms of like stage length and like level design, I really still like Sonic Unleashed, and you can't beat like the stage time in that game for me, because stages feel so compelling and so long in that game, and that is exactly the same way I felt in Shadow. And usually, I'm not gonna lie, in every Sonic game, there's at least one stage that I do not like. I'm looking at you, Planet Whis. God, that stage is awful. But in Shadow Gens, there is absolutely not a single stage I dislike. Every stage in this game is good, and I mean that. Every stage is fun. As I said before, there are so many routes to take that you're never going to get bored of these stages. There's always going to be something new or like something you can look forward to when replaying these stages. And I really, really love that about this game. When I play Sonic games, I always like to load them back up and replay my favorite stages. And with this game, I feel like I could literally pick through any stage out of the list and be happy with what I chose. If I had to nitpick something though about the stages, there is one thing though, and that is the fact that this guy Doom loves Radical Highway. I don't know what it is, but he loves Radical Highway.
I just think Radical Highway is so cool.
What?
I mean, you grind down the suspension cables like whoosh, and then the fighter jets come in and drop bombs like but you dodge them, and then you go in that building with the springs. It's like bong, 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 bong. My God, it's so cool.
What are you, 12?
And I feel like in those stages where you get sent to Radical Highway, you're just about like getting into the groove and, you know, setting into that stage, and the level is just picking up, and then boom, Radical Highway, here you come. And it's not that big of a deal, but I really wish that there was like an option you could like just turn it off so you wouldn't have to deal with it and the stage would keep going. But I understand for story purposes why it's there. I just wish there was like an option to turn it off, because I like playing my stages, you know. I picked the stage to play that stage, not Radical Highway. But hey, you know, it is what it is, you know. I can deal with some Radical Highway in exchange for the rest of the good stages. It's all good. And I know people will love to hate on the Doom Morph, and because they love to hate on the Doom Morph, they will say that Chaos Island is the worst stage in the game. And all I gotta say, it is a skill issue, because I love Chaos Island. That is my favorite stage of the game, and I fought with a Doom Morph. Squid supremacy all the way around. That's all I'm gonna say. As for the whole world though, this time around we actually get a big 3D zone like in Frontiers instead of the 2D hub zone that we had in Sonic Generations. It works the same essentially though. You still have to go around, find the stages, complete challenges. Challenges unlock you art, music, etc. And in stages, you actually find these collectibles, which then when you come back to the white space zone, you can open these chests and you'll be rewarded with music or art, which is really cool. Sega does a really good job incentivizing you to go back to stages, replay, etc, etc. And as for the gameplay side of things, they really did a good job with Shadow Gens. What can I say about the story though? This is where you skip if you don't want to hear about the story. People will make fun of Sega or Sonic fans for caring about if their stories are serious or not. And at the end of the day, it is a game. But I do like to see Sega try and tell serious Sonic stories in their game. And we definitely got that with this game. There were times sitting through and watching cutscenes that like I was actually getting emotional and feeling sad for Shadow. And I like feeling that, you know? The characters look so good in this game, and you can see it on Shadow's face, and his animations, they're on point. Like, you can see what he's going through and how much like this is affecting him. Finally being reunited with Gerald and Maria is something that he never thought would happen. And throughout the game and the whole world, you have chances to speak to both of them, and you really get to see their personality shine and the relationship that Shadow had between both characters. And while all of that is happening, Shadow is still trying to save the world, and he comes to a point where he has a chance of trying to save them, but at the cost of not saving the world. He's finally given this chance of closure, and it's something his character has obviously always wanted, but never wanted it to come in this way. I'm obviously not going to get into the whole story, but overall, I think the story is really good. And I'm really happy that we've gotten 2 Sonic games back to back that have really tried to take themselves more seriously and tell these really good stories, because it's compelling and it's interesting and it's fun to watch the story develop in the background while you're playing the game. It makes you care about the game more, and it makes you care more about the characters that you're playing as, and this game does a good job at doing that. But yeah, overall, I think Shadow Generations really did a good job from gameplay to story. I think in a couple of years, we're really going to look back at this game and be like, yeah, this game is what it means to be a good Sonic game. And yeah, Sonic Generations is here. They really didn't do that much, to be honest. They gave both Sonics a drop dash. People really love the drop dash. Honestly, it's cool to have it for classic Sonic, but it just feels weird on modern Sonic. I don't know. Also, for some reason, for classic Sonic, you can turn it off. Like, it's literally in your skills. You can take it off and turn it back on if you want. But for modern Sonic, you are stuck with it, my friend. There is no way to turn it off. So if you don't like it, you are stuck with it. Unless you're on PC, then there's mods. Oh, and they did do some things to the story. The main thing they did was just rewrite a bunch of the cutscenes, I guess for continuity's sake. The only thing I really don't like is how they changed Amy's character. They made her way less obsessive with Sonic, which isn't such a bad thing, but when it gets to the point that they are flat out ignoring such a core part of her character, it kind of seems wrong. But I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. I'm over here obsessing about two hedgehogs' relationships. Two hedgehogs' relationships. Jeez, that is a tongue twister. Otherwise, a lot of people will make fun of Ian Flynn's writing, saying that he references a lot of things. Me personally, I don't think it's bad because I like my games to matter and it makes the universe feel more alive. When actions from your previous games that you played are brought up, it feels nice knowing that what you played and what you did in the previous games actually mattered and have shaped the characters. But yeah, that's basically my thoughts on the game. I really do think if you're on the fence of buying the game, I really do think you should do it because this is a really good Sonic game and we haven't had one in a very, very long time. And I promise you will not be disappointed. But yeah, that's going to wrap up my discussion. If you guys did enjoy the video, make sure to leave a comment, like, subscribe. This is my first time doing one of these, so I hope you guys did enjoy. I do plan on uploading some more Sonic related videos in the future, so I hope you guys do tune in. But other than that, I hope you guys do have a good rest of your day.